The 80s were nearly 40 years ago, but the nostalgia is still going strong. Come join us as we get into all things 80s movies and TV specials right after the drop.
You're tuning in to AfterBuzz TV's The Christmas 24/7 channel, keeping the spirit of Christmas 24/7. Give, forgive, be merry.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Christmas 24/7. This is a very 80s Christmas, and I'm your host, Kay Montgomery, the queen of all things 1980s nostalgia Christmas. Before we get started today on movies and TV specials, I want to introduce you to my illustrious panel. It only takes one to do the work of many. Regina Coles, she's the queen caroler in the building today.
I love that, Kay. Thank you so much. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, so we're really excited to get all into movies and specials today. First off, we're going to get right into talking about A Christmas Story. So A Christmas Story is on my list of one of my top absolute favorite Christmas movies, period. It just so happens to be made in the 80s, which is great for us. So A Christmas Story is actually set in the late 1940s, mid to late 1940s. But I think that it's really appropriate as we talk about 80s Christmas because it was released in 1985. But also it kind of has that same tie-in as we're seeing today. Retro was really in then. We were really nostalgic then. Flashback was huge then, which is a lot of what we're seeing today. What do you think? What are your thoughts about A Christmas Story, about Ralphie and his Red Ryder BB gun and that whole situation?
Well, like you said, you know, everything kind of goes back full circle, retro, and you can still relate to a lot of things that are happening today.
Yeah,
with The Christmas Story, but you know, it's like a really fun movie.
It is so much fun. I know some of the movies like you watch as a kid, you kind of pass down, and The Christmas Story was definitely one of those. Once my kids were old enough to just kind of understand it, I mean, it was always on in the background, but you know, once they got a little more of age, we were really excited to show it to them. What I was surprised by is how they were shocked when Ralphie and Farkus, you know, Farkus is like the bully, right? And so he tortures Ralphie pretty much the whole movie. And then towards the end, Ralphie stands up to Farkus and he just pummels him in the alleyway. You know, he gets him down and he's just wailing on him, punching him. And Farkus's face gets really bloody and he starts to cry. My kids were so shocked by that because in TV movies now, kids don't fight. They don't fight to draw blood. They couldn't believe that they were fighting and it got bloody.
Realism.
Oh, my kids were like, what? I remember them screaming. They were like, what is this? He's killing him. Like,
well,
I was like, have y'all never seen a street fight before? Nope, they had never seen a street fight in person or on TV.
Sadly, these kids nowadays, well, I'm not going to say sadly because they got it made in so many ways.
They do.
A lot of things back in the past that we grew up with, unfortunately, our kids have missed out on that. And but one thing important about A Christmas Story, of course, is bringing up the subject of bullying.
That's true.
And
that's a good point.
Bullying, you know, has taken a whole new level nowadays from in the 80s. Okay. I mean, kids nowadays, they get on the internet and they do psychological bullying.
That's true.
It's not one of these things like when we were growing up, a bully would confront you at school and say, meet me on the playground after school and I'm going to beat your butt or whatever like that.
You know, and you have to find an alternate way to get home.
Yeah, or if you have brothers and sisters, you have older brothers and sisters, and so did I. And they didn't know that. So I'm like, oh, yeah, you meet me on the playground by the monkey bar.
My sister.
And here come
it
my
used to be my
sister,
cousin. My cousin
brother.
was the one who was intimidating. I'd be like, my cousin, you tell my cousin Tina.
Yeah, so my sister or my brother, they would come to the rescue, honey, and I'd be right behind them telling them what punches to land, you know.
I could see like a little scrappy dude behind Scooby. Get him, Scooby, Get him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's true. So it's a good opportunity to talk to your kids about bullying. That's right.
Yes.
So I was so shocked by that. I thought that was so funny. There's so many great moments in The Christmas Story. I think The Christmas Story is one of those movies that ages really well because it's one of those movies that's really good for kids, but then when you're older as an adult, you notice certain parts of it and you're like, okay, that part's hilarious. That part's funny. You know, you get certain parts like the leg lamp part. And I thought it's so funny how they make him dress up in that rabbit suit and his dad calls him a demonic bunny or whatever.
Yeah, but I want to, before we leave bullying.
Yes.
Because I'm a former elementary school teacher.
Oh, school counselor up top.
All right.
Okay.
I thought you told me that was your background too, education. So kids, we just want to say to you, bullying is not a cool thing. Whether you're doing it on the internet and bullying somebody, by texting or whatever, it's not a cool thing. Believe me. At this point in your lives, you should be enjoying being kids and not hating on each other. Love, not hate. And Christmas time is the right time and season to spread the message of love and forgiveness. So remember that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So A Christmas Story was really popular in the 80s, but I know you have another, speaking of flashbacks, your favorite, you were telling me Christmas movie. No, because it doesn't have to date you. Because this movie
is a classic.
For
all ages.
For all ages.
Yeah.
All ages. I love that they still keep it in black and white. I love that they didn't color retouch it. It's a Wonderful Life. Why is It's a Wonderful Life your favorite?
Because the message of that story is about hope. It's about the central character, and of course we're going to recommend that everyone out there, if you have not seen this movie, they play it nonstop during the holiday. A lot of people haven't seen Wizard of Oz, I don't think. But anyways, make sure you see it. A Wonderful Life. It's such a beautiful movie. And the central premise of the story is about a man who loses his business pretty much, and everybody turns against him. And so, of course, at that point, it's around Christmas time. And so how do you deal with losing your job, your business, and all your friends, and everybody's turning against you at Christmas time? So you got to have, the message is to have hope and never give up. And so that's what I get from that.
And that sounds like a perfect message for the day, for today's time.
Yes.
Because don't we need it, right, today?
We need it more than ever to just have faith, not only in ourselves, but in other people, because you never know the blessings that are going to come, the angels that are going to manifest in your life to help you through any, seemingly down, dark times.
And that's what happened with George in the movie, right? He didn't realize what an impact his life had on everybody in his little town.
Right.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Right.
Yeah. Really, really good story of hope and uplift. So the next Christmas movie I wanted to hit on a little bit was National Lampoons.
Oh, the
Griswolds.
Chevy Chase.
The Griswolds.
Chevy Chase.
Now, I thought this was really interesting because A Christmas Story goes to kind of... his father's kind of grumpy and, a little disheveled, but it's still in that era kind of father knows best. But the theme of National Lampoons is a dad trying to pull off a great Christmas, but it's not really father knows best anymore, right?
Right, it's
father
not working.
is just making a mess. He don't know best.
God.
He's making a mess.
He's destroying everything.
Yeah, he's destroying everything.
Yeah.
So when National Lampoons came out, I remember they used to show it ad nauseum on, like, in Georgia, what would be considered Channel 46 on one of the like off channels, your UVH, whatever channel. And they would show it like on Saturday, like the Saturday afternoon movie. So I remember seeing it edited with all the bleeps out and a commercial every 5 minutes, that type of way. Did you see it in the theaters ever? Or
all the way through. And now they show it all the way through, but it's later at night.
Yeah, I see it on occasion. Yeah, we showed it to our kids. Our kids were not fans of it, though.
Yeah, I think you have to be of a certain age to really appreciate the comedy of that.
Yeah, you said that before.
Yeah, but when you look at National Lampoon, it's to a point where, as a wife, you say, "Okay, let me take my husband right quick here and wrap him up in some gift wrap or something to sit him in a corner until I get Christmas set."
Right,
you
right,
know,
right.
because I want to still have a house. You know.
Yeah, and that's one thing he was going to destroy slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Destroy
But
everything.
there's a reboot coming out.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I had not heard that.
Yes,
So is
they're
it still
making a new
Chevy
one.
Chase, or who's going to be our...
I bet you Chevy Chase is going to have a role in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a National Lampoon Christmas reboot.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's coming out for next Christmas, I believe.
Oh, that's funny.
And if I'm wrong, guys out there, but I'm pretty sure I saw that. I
Yeah.
think Princess, didn't she?
Oh,
share
she
that
sent
with
us.
us,
She
or-
sent us information for a 30th anniversary
okay.
of National Lampoon. So AMC is doing a special celebration,
Okay.
December 5th at 7 p.m.
There we
across
go.
all of America. They're doing a national screening, like re-showing
Oh,
of
yeah, in the
National
theater,
Lampoon. So you
right.
could go see it in the theater with your kids December 5th at 7, or family or friends or whoever you want to go see it with. So to just have that Christmas experience. I love when they re-release old things in the theater. I love when they do that. The theater near my house does it a couple of, they do it like every other year, usually with Elf, but it's usually only Christmas movies. So they do it with Christmas movies. So I love to see like Elf in the theater. That's really fun. And they
Right.
did The Grinch once,
Oh, okay.
re-released in the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so hey, maybe there won't be a National Lampoon remake, but maybe I'm putting that out in the universe.
There you
So,
go.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah,
It's
they
such a
could
great
redo that.
classic.
Yeah, they could definitely redo that. Would that be something you would go see again?
It just would depend. You know, I'm one of those movie people. I love going to movies, but certain movies I have to be in the mood for.
yes.
And when it comes to Christmas, I'm more on a serious tone or lighthearted, not so much comedy in my face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's a special brand of like silly comedy
It
type.
is.
Yeah.
And I like Christmas time. I like movies that have more meaning.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That really uplift me. And,
I want to chime in real quick, y'all.
Yes.
This is Ryan
Ryan.
in the booth, Ryan Nilsson,
Hey.
just
Hey,
producing
Ryan.
the show. Merry Christmas to both of you, by the way, and happy
You too.
Thanksgiving as
Thank
well.
you.
This is one of my family's favorite movies that we always watch every single year. You can see me, by the way. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
That's our handsome
us-
producer,
hello.
Ryan.
Hello. How are we doing?
Yeah, tell us all about how your dad got you to love it.
Oh my gosh. So this is my dad's favorite Christmas movie, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. He got me into it, and every Christmas we turn it on. It's like that and Elf. Those are the two movies.
Yeah,
and,
I love Elf.
This one being the 80s, like he grew up with it, obviously, and I don't know if his family necessarily loved it all too much, but he definitely watched it with his siblings. So every time we have the family over, we
Gotcha.
always
That's
have
a
that
good
on the
sibling.
background. We're always quoting it. My dad's a little hard of hearing, and there's a few moments in the film where Chevy Chase's character is a little hard of hearing, and he's like looking for his son, calling him Russ, and like my dad's always calling us, and we're always right next to him, and he doesn't realize. So
That's
it's just stuff like
cute.
that,
Yeah.
and yeah, so it's really relatable, and I think
Yeah.
anyone who's like who works over the holidays and is like hoping for like a bonus. That's a theme in this film as well, and he just wants to throw his family the best Christmas. So it's an endlessly relatable film for all families during the holiday season.
Well, I like the fact that you and your siblings get together and watch it. So what do you have? Popcorn? What's the snacks?
What's the snacks? Oh, so again, see, I have one brother. My dad and his siblings were the ones who
Oh,
watched
okay.
it. But I still watch it with my brother and
Yeah.
my fam all the time, and
so
it's
cute.
just such a great it's great humor. It's rare where you see a lot of these comedies from the 80s still hold up, and I feel like this one definitely does. Just because there's a lot of different types of humor. There's there's like sight gags, there's falling, like physical humor, and there's also great dialogue. Chevy Chase, when cousin Eddie comes into the picture, again, this whole theme of family. You might get together with your cousins over the break. He has a cousin in this film who is absolutely hysterical. He comes in on an RV and has like a dog that's constantly like messing up the place. It's just a great. There's so many elements that are all ends of comedy, and there's just something that you're gonna laugh at probably.
And so what actor plays Cousin Eddie?
Oh man, I gotta pull it up.
I don't know his name, but I know his face. He was really famous in the 80s. You would see him on a lot of different things. He was
It's not
kind of that guy in that
one
thing.
of the Quaid brothers, is it? It's
it
not
might be. I think it's
Randy.
Randy. It is.
Randy
Yeah, no, I
Quaid?
think you're right. I think you're right. I
There
think it's
you
Randy
go.
Quaid because he he played Cousin Eddie. Here, I'm pulling it up right now. Yes, so it is Randy Quaid. It was
Great.
Cousin Eddie.
Oh,
He also in
okay.
Independence Day. Yeah.
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 Good pull. Good pull.
Cool.
Yeah, that became a kind of a repeating theme to include in movies and specials, I think, to have the obnoxious family members come in. I think because part of that is true. You
is
you have a
true.
lot of family coming together. You always
Yes.
have that one set of cousins that's a little bit wilder than everybody else, a little bit shakes everything up a little bit crazier.
Or that uncle or aunt or that has too much eggnog. Or the grandma that just anything flying out of her mouth is flying.
That's
and she doesn't
definitely-
care who she's telling
That's
off or whatever.
definitely
So,
my mom. That's
yeah.
definitely my
Oh,
mom.
is it really your mom?
Yeah. Did the shoot, that dance the shoot last Christmas and just had us cracking up. We were just
Really?
like, is Granny really doing the shoot right now? Yeah.
Oh.
Hilarious.
Oh.
But I think along that theme where you were talking about, you like a Christmas movie that has a little more feeling behind
Yeah,
it.
more of a message, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's great to laugh during Christmas,
Right,
be
right.
joyful. But I also like a message of hope.
Yeah. I think that a lot of those movies were really funny and the message of family came through. But I think the good thing about the movies that I particularly enjoy now are movies like Elf and movies like, The Grinch has stood the test of time. But those movies have that spirit of Christmas, feeling of Christmas at the end that kind of wraps it all together. Even Elf, a movie that's really silly, really funny all the way through, has a lot of quotables. But at the very end, it centers on the Christmas spirit and the feeling of Christmas. And I'm like you in that. I like to have a little bit of humor, but I also like that, Christmas feeling. I want to feel good after.
My memory is escaping me right now, so both of you help me out with this.
Yeah, what's up?
What movie am I thinking of with Ebenezer Scrooge?
There's a ton. I think
Yeah,
there's-
it's usually the Christmas Carol, but the
Oh,
80s
that's
version.
it. The
Is there
Christmas
Scrooge? Do you
Carol.
know
There's
about Scrooge?
Scrooge with Bill Murray, which is the 80s
Okay.
version of the Christmas Carol.
There we go. There we go. And he was like a corporate guy, right?
Yep.
He was a boss, and he was mean as all get out.
I feel like Scrooge is one that just gets reincarnated kind of every year. Mickey did a Scrooge in the 80s. Bill Murray did a Scrooge in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
it's one of those that kind of holds up and continues to be remade and reinvented.
That's a great point, Kay. I was
Yeah.
gonna say like that. There's that archetype of, the character of Scrooge that I think you can see in any decade of entertainment.
Yeah.
There's some type of remake, whether
Right.
like even the Grinch is in a
Yeah,
way
the
a
Grinch is
version.
a Scrooge, yeah.
It's just that, but all those elements from A Christmas Carol, I feel it's constantly being remade. It's like, what is it about that story that that is just so ever present and that you
Well,
can do
it's
it at any time?
The whole message behind it.
Yeah.
Which themes?
People can be so inconsiderate of other people in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And, you really want to treat people the way you want to be treated. And in that movie, he did not. And so it was a good thing for him to be visited by all three of Christmas spirits. And I can think of so many people right now in this world that would benefit being visited by Ebenezer Scrooge. by the spirits.
By the spirits, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I really like the theme of rebirth, right?
Yeah.
Because it's always showing that we can change. Because, he's one way in the beginning of the movie. He has this metamorphosis, and at the end, he's a completely different guy. People are like,
Right.
who is this guy? Barely recognize
Right.
him.
Yeah.
And I love that idea of rebirth and of change, that kind of goes hand in hand with Christmas. Yeah, I think that's why it's so...
Resonates.
I think that's why it resonates and it's so
resonates.
popular. Because I think a lot of people that you do see that may be grumpy or not in the best spirits, a lot of times around Christmas, people's attitude kinds of shifts.
Completely
Whether
agree.
it's, even if they don't celebrate Christmas, that idea that I'm going to get a little bit of time off of work. You know what I mean?
That's one reason I think Keven, started this channel is because he, during the holiday season, especially Christmas in particular. Okay, yes, got a hat. Everyone is just nicer to each other, and everyone's spirits are high. And I think with the Christmas Carol story, whether it's Grinch or Scrooged or anything, it's that sense of discovery that character gets, that Grinch, that Scrooge gets, of, hey, all the stresses you have year round, this is a time of year where you just got to be thankful for, what you got. And whether it's your family or friends. And what's great about all these different stories is just those themes you can put in all these different stories and get a new thing out of it. Because really, Grinch and Scrooge are so different of characters, but it's the same discovery they get.
Right.
So it's really, I completely agree. And especially with the 80s, that 1988 Scrooge with Bill Murray is such an awesome take on that.
I remember that.
I'm curious, so when did both of y'all see that in theaters? Or
Yeah.
do you still watch it, or is that one you don't go back to as much?
I saw it in theaters, and it
Did you? Yeah.
left a lasting impression on me.
Oh, yeah.
Because, they redid it in current times. And so to make it more relatable to people working every day in an office setting, a professional setting, that kind of thing. And, of course, when you're in a big corporate conglomerate working as the top boss, there's so many people, levels of employees beneath you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I didn't.
from the mail boy, you name it. And so it's,
Yeah, I didn't see it in theaters. I remember as a kid it just being on in the background because back in the day, you would wait for things to come on. TV is mostly how you would see a lot of things, unless you went to Blockbuster and rented the video. But TV would get rights to a lot of things. So I remember just kind of seeing it in the background. I think Andy McDowell in there?
Andy
Yes,
McDowell.
Andy, right.
Is she in it? I just remember, seeing that aspect of it, catching pieces here and there, and thinking it was pretty interesting.
Right.
But Bill Murray, of course, like one of the stars of the 80s. Absolutely, yeah. So we're huge fans of the 80s and movies, but we're also huge fans of our watchers and people that support us.
Absolutely. And at this time, we want to thank all of you out there, our loyal viewers, for supporting us here at AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. We appreciate you so much. We couldn't do it without you. And we appreciate your going on to iTunes and giving us a 5-star rating. And we also appreciate when you go on to YouTube and subscribe to our channels, give us the thumbs up, and leave us all those wonderful comments. Personally, I read the comments, and I love reading them.
I do too. Yeah.
So thank you so much, guys. You are the true stars. Thanks for watching, and continue to watch. We appreciate it.
Yeah. So, a few other Christmas movies before we move to Christmas specials. I just wanted to kind of check off our list and see if you had any thoughts about. There was A Christmas Carol released in 1984. This one was so it's similar to Scrooge, but it was A Christmas Carol with George C. Scott.
Whoa.
The same guy that played Patton.
Yes.
He was a really good Scrooge. I just remember his eyebrows were insane as a little kid. I was like, his eyebrows.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one?
No, I don't.
I remember watching that one in school.
Right.
Yeah. Because it was very period piece. It was like old timey.
I remember it.
And like the last day before you go to Christmas break, they'll pop in a movie for you, a video for you. I remember.
Of course, plenty of them.
Yeah.
Keep
Oh, you're
quiet.
a teacher. You know how to.
Oh God. Yes.
You remember those days. You know
Yes.
that as a teacher. And then Mr. Kruger's Christmas. Did you ever see Mr. Kruger's Christmas?
no.
Yeah. So it had the Mormon.
there it is.
he
Okay,
is.
it brings
Isn't he
back
the
some
perfect
memories.
Ebenezer?
Yeah, okay.
He was perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks
It
so.
brings back memories now.
He looks so old and curmudgeonly.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So I remember a little while later seeing Mr. Kruger's Christmas, which was a really sweet movie about this old guy that was like, he had no family. He was borderline homeless. He lived in like a cellar apartment. And there was a little girl that like saw him on the street and kind of made friends with him and gave him a pair of mittens. And it was all about like extending kindness to people that are alone during the holidays that might seem grumpy, but there's usually a reason behind it. You know, this man had lost his family. He didn't have any family. And so that was the reason why he was a little more curmudgeonly. So it was really interesting. Good little note to think about those at Christmas who might be lonely or alone or not, you know, necessarily be getting the Christmas spirit because they don't have family around or friends.
Now, have you ever cried after watching a Christmas movie?
Oh, I cry all the time.
Yeah.
I'm a big crier.
Which movie makes you cry? Both of you.
Which movie?
Christmas movie, right?
Christmas movie?
Yeah.
From the 80s.
Anytime.
Honestly,
anytime.
I'll be honest. I know we were saying it's more of a comedy, but there's Christmas Vacation has some moments that make it more than just a regular holiday comedy, I think.
Like what moments?
So there's one moment in particular
Receipts.
when Receipts, got it. So we were talking about Cousin Eddie, Randy Quaid's character. So he has two kids. One of the kids is super young. It's the youngest kid in the whole household. And then when they're talking about like Santa and all these people, it's like a lot for her. And at one point, she's up in the middle of the night, and Clark, the dad, Chevy Chase, runs into her, and she goes, like, you know, you're excited for Christmas? She's like, yeah, but my parents told me that Santa wasn't coming this year because I guess her parents they're not in the best state, like, financially. And Clark was just like, oh, why'd they tell you that? And they're like, well, you know, just because we live in an RV that he can't track down where we're at. So later in the movie, I know, Santa Claus.
That's
so later in the
funny.
movie, Clark actually offers to help out with their Christmas so that he can give them, you know, a trip from Santa. And I just thought that was like a really sweet
Oh,
scene.
that gives you the feels,
Oh,
Ryan.
for sure, yeah. I mean, it definitely transcends it from just being your typical
Sure.
80s comedy.
It's helping people less fortunate than you.
Yeah,
and it's
family.
not saying you're in the best financial state, but any little thing that you can give from the heart is what counts.
Yeah. I think talking about Christmas specials, the Charlie Brown Christmas special is always just like a classic for me. But I was looking up other specials from the 80s, and these, like, it really made me realize how special Charlie Brown is because he's aged so well, better than some of these other specials that I was like, what? So Garfield had a Christmas special in the 80s. The Care Bears did. Alvin and the Chipmunks did. He-Man and the whole crew, She-Ra, all the Masters of the Universe did. And this one blew me away. Pac-Man. I was like, how did Pac-Man have I don't even remember Pac-Man even being a cartoon.
Right.
I remember Pac-Man being a game. So I thought that was hilarious.
Well,
Did you mention Garfield?
But yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome because some people in the chat, we've Star Drew in the chat right now saying,
yeah.
what year was the Garfield Christmas special? I was just looking it up, and it looks like it was 87, December 21st.
Yeah, Care Bears, Garfield, He-Man, Pac-Man.
Well, was Charlie Brown's Christmas, did they ever like redo that as far as like the color? What year did that come out, Ryan? I know
Charlie
in the
Brown
60s.
Christmas was
I want to say,
65.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
What
going to say,
a
I know it was in the
classic.
80s. It's been going on and on. But you know what the longest running Christmas special?
What's that?
So the longest running Christmas special, I wrote it down in my notes, was Rudolph.
Oh,
Since,
my favorite.
yeah,
Don't tell me
since
what.
1964.
Wow.
It's been running every single year.
love it.
Longest running.
I never get tired. It never gets old for me.
Does it never?
It brings out that little girl in me. But you know, let me share this with you guys. I have been knowing somebody for a couple of years and just found out that they were one of the main voices in Charlie Brown Christmas.
Oh, that's huge.
I know.
You
Which
know
voice?
a star.
I don't want to say because I don't want to put them on the spot because they're kind of shy now about it.
Oh, that's so funny.
And they don't even know I know. Somebody else told me, and then I went on IMDb, and I'm like, oh my God,
That is so
all
awesome.
this time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown Christmas is a great one. That Charlie Brown tree, the now you said one that always can get me to cry is the Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yeah.
Because Linus at the end, they do the whole play, and then Linus at the end like reads the Christmas story.
Mm-hmm.
The first time watching that with the kids, I was like, wow, they spend a lot of time on the Christmas story,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which you rarely see. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
It's just beautiful.
I want to ask. This might be. I might be opening up a can of worms here. What is your opinion on this whole idea that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Have
With
you heard
Bruce
this before?
Willis?
With Bruce Willis, the 1980s
I've
Die
heard that.
Hard.
No way.
It takes place during Christmas. It's on Christmas Eve night. There's a big debate in the film community that it is indeed a Christmas movie. In fact, there is a line of dialogue where he goes, "Merry Christmas, Mother," and then he.
Oh God.
Do
no.
we consider Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Absolutely not.
No.
Thumbs down.
Regina has spoken.
Thumbs down.
No.
Too much
Kay
violence.
has spoken.
Hard
Too much
pass.
Whoa!
violence.
You don't think saving a loved one
Violence.
at the
You know what? I don't want anybody to ever be put in that position, Ryan, on Christmas.
That's the bloodiest Christmas.
My
That's hilarious.
gosh.
I have heard that before. I've heard people
it's a
debating
movie
that.
called Bloody Santa Claus or something, isn't it?
What?
Yeah, since you brought that up. There's some
no.
slasher films, Ryan.
Whoa.
I think it's Bloody Santa Claus. Did it come out last year or year before?
Oh,
I'm
no.
not
Is
joking,
that
y'all.
Krampus
Though,
or
like
something?
this has a major following. Like, there's a major debate going
Really?
on.
What is Bruce Willis saying? Is he
He is wearing
saying
the
it is?
Nakatomi Plaza Christmas Party 1988 because that's where the film took place on
Bruce.
Christmas Eve.
Bruce, have several seats, Bruce.
Have several.
Have a seat. What does Demi Moore
And
say?
I
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Bruce Willis one time in person. Where did I see him? I think I was in Manhattan Beach, and he was walking, and he was nice. But Bruce Willis, I'm glad I did not know that then.
You would have came to him with it. Like,
Yeah.
listen, Bruce, no.
Yeah, I don't
that's
buy
That's a
that.
hard no. I would love to hear what people think in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
so we'll
next
have
time.
to, for next time, we'll review the comments. Oh my gosh, they even put a Santa hat. Are you kidding me right now? Y'all play too much.
Is that a real picture from the movie?
No, they put a hat on him. That is not
I'm
real.
about to say.
They play way too much. Way too
Right.
much. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right.
I know what I was trying to think of. Bad Santa.
Ah.
With,
I believe it's early 2000s.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
more
but
recent.
anyway, it's still
Yeah. Something that's not
We'll get to that decade another time.
another time. Yeah, but I think there's really something special about Charlie Brown's Christmas.
It is.
That has transcended where all of these other like Christmases of the day. I know even a few years ago Shrek did a Christmas, but it's like nothing sticks like that Charlie Brown special. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just has a special place in the heart.
Yeah, it does. It's so heartwarming. I just want to have some cocoa and say,
Yeah,
the
for
little
real.
girl in me.
For real. So we're going to move on now to our special segment, which is Song of the Week for us. One of our favorite songs of the 80s, which is probably, honestly, it's my favorite Christmas song. Last Christmas
By George Michael.
by Wham, actually.
Well, he wrote it. And I'm sure his partner had a hand
but
in
I
it.
always say George Michael too, because I'm
Yeah,
like, what was
but
it? What was
Wham,
the other
we
dude
gotta
in Wham
give,
doing?
Andrew.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure
Yes,
he
props
co-
out. You know Andrew.
Girl,
Hey,
I'm
come
into
through.
music
Come
now.
through.
That's
Oh,
part
okay.
of my,
all right. This is our resident
I'm a music
caroler.
person.
Y'all know she know. Y'all know she knows. So Last Christmas, the song. Okay, here is because I have always loved. There we go. I've always loved it.
Come on,
Do
let's
you
hit
know
it.
this
Let's hit the
year?
chorus.
This year is the 25th anniversary.
Wow.
Of Last Christmas. It's the
Wow.
25th. The 35th anniversary.
We were just barely little babes.
I
at that.
mean, babes. I
Yeah.
had never seen the video. I was like, let me check out the video. My husband said, everybody's seen the video. I go, I haven't seen the video. If you are ready for lots of fake snow realness, feathered hair, George Michael in a fur coat with a fur hood,
Yeah.
staring longingly in the distance, this is a video you need to watch immediately.
And let me give you a short story. The movie is out, or it came out with Amelia Clark, right?
And Henry Golding
And,
from Crazy Rich Asians. Oh, he's got a clip of the video. Look at the video. Guys, the video is the best thing. When I tell you, you have got to watch this video with George Michael and this feather hair. It is like the absolute best. Here's the thing. There's a brooch in it. Like he gives her this brooch, and then he sees her later on. Look at him. Look at him giving her the eye. Girl, you is not ready
That's
for
his
George Michael.
partner.
So I guess they,
Andrew.
The next year she was with Andrew, and the last year she was with George. But
Okay.
there's a brooch in the video that
So
features
scandalous.
prominently. There it is. There's the brooch. What is hilarious is, I was like, is there any more 80s piece of jewelry than a brooch?
Wow.
I mean, women were
Christmas brooches
rocking
are a
those
big
brooches. I was like, oh my gosh, it is so 80s. I love so much. I love everything about it. It's just the best video. You have got to watch that video.
Emma Thompson, she produced Last Christmas.
I did not know that.
And she told the
love her.
story that this screenplay, which she, I believe, had a part in writing, had been around for a good 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Before she could get any backing on it. But she did get George Michael's blessing before he died.
Wow. That's
So
huge.
He knew it was being made into a movie. She finally, early on, he knew about it, her creating it. But it took many, many years. And what people don't know is a lot of projects that come out, they're years in the making. And so
That's true.
the great thing about before he died was she was able to let him know that your song is going to be made into a movie.
Yeah, and a lot of his songs feature prominently in the movie. So that's awesome and really exciting. I know Last Christmas is one of my favorites. I didn't realize that it never reached number 2.
Oh, really?
Because do they know? I mean, it never reached number 1. It stayed at number 2 because Do They Know It's Christmas beat him out that year. And so after that, he never made it to the number 1 spot. So here's to hoping this year he makes it to the number
With
1
the movie.
Christmas with the movie. Maybe he makes it to number 1
Well,
song
he's
with
got
the
to
movie
beat
having
Mariah
his back.
Carey out
That's a
because
tough.
she's got the overall Christmas
It's a
song of
tough
all
fight.
time.
Yeah, it's a tough fight.
All I
So
want for Christmas is you.
it's you. So before we wrap up, let's talk a little bit about our favorite Christmas memories that maybe involve movies. For me, thank you. Listen to that wonderful music. Ryan's so good with the music drops. I would say for me, it would definitely be watching The Christmas Story at our house in Philly when our kids were young. Occasionally on whatever channel, they'll put The Christmas Story on a loop and just play it like for 24 hours. And so I remember having the TV on and just having it loop all day and being able to peek in and see a certain part. Oh yeah, I missed. Oh, it hasn't gotten to this part. This part is getting ready to come. Hold on, come over. Let's watch this part. I love that. That's one of my favorite Christmas movies. At first, when I first heard about them putting it on a loop, I was like, why would they do that? That's so dumb. But it's so fun just to have it on in the background and kind of see what parts that you catch, what parts of the film you catch.
Well, I have to say A Wonderful Life. But also, I'm into historical movies.
Oh, yeah.
So anything that depicts Christ being born, those kind of things, or centers around the Bible, that kind of thing, I love watching that. I always like to, because I'm a history buff as well. So anything like that. But I'll say It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Very sweet.
What about Ryan? Did he leave us?
No, I'm here.
What's your favorite? Of course, we know. Don't answer it.
I was like, he already told
National
us.
Lampoon.
Oh yeah, that one might be my second favorite. There's a soft. This is a weird one maybe because I don't think this is that popular, but there's a soft place in my heart for the Jim Carrey Grinch. I'm a big
Oh,
fan.
yes.
Yeah.
I
Something
love that
about
one.
that movie, even
I
like
love
the
that one.
spectacle, how they make that Christmas town, it just gets me really in the
Oh,
spirit.
yeah. Have you
Yeah.
ever been to Universal and seen it at Christmas, how they do the whole Grinchmas?
No.
Oh, my
wow.
gosh,
You gotta
Ryan,
go, Ryan.
you would love
You're
that.
missing out.
The Grinch comes out and he
Yeah.
is a hoot. Oh, if you bring him an onion, he'll just make a spectacle. It's so much fun. And then the actual tour goes through the village and you get to see Whoville.
And they've got it all. It's pretty. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
You
and they
gotta
perform
go,
and
Ryan.
everything. Yeah,
I'll
Ryan.
have to go.
Yeah.
I'll report back.
Yeah, awesome. So thanks so much for joining us, guys. This has been so much fun. I love movies. I love the 80s, and the two combined to make something really special today. I just want to thank Regina for joining us. Regina,
Sure.
where can we find you?
You can find me at Instagram, Regina Coles, and on Twitter, Regina Rico, RECO, just short for Regina Coles. Also, guys, catch me tonight at 7, The Real Housewives of Orange County. And I've started a new show that I'm hosting solo called Blind Date on Sundays at 2 p.m. And we talk about all the juicy stuff about going on blind dates. And I've got Regina's do's and don'ts, honey.
Ooh.
You don't want to miss out on that juicy stuff.
That sounds scandalous. And I'm at Host K on Instagram and Twitter. Be sure to join us next time when we'll be talking about our favorite foods and favorite treats that were really popular in the 80s and then what we love today. Thanks so much for joining us. We will see you guys next time.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, Ryan really came through. Thanks, guys.
Officers Keven Undergaro and Maria Menounos, Chief Spirit Officer Jeff Graham, and the entire The Christmas 24/7 channel, we would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV's The Christmas 24/7 channel. If you have questions or comments, email us at thechristmas247@gmail.com. Until next time, do your best to give, forgive, and be merry. Ho, 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 ho.